question I have might not be appropriate. I've not been too at peace with myself lately, and I've got something that's my conscience has been bothered a little bit. I don't want to make assumptions about you because I don't know you, but I got the sense that in reference to Audie, and I don't know him either, that what you were saying to him earlier was insulting and you were shutting him down. And I have this thing about justice, and when people are getting shut down and cut off, it bothers the hell out of me. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, and I don't mean to embarrass Audie or you or anyone, but I had to get it off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know him in this situation or you or anyone else's, but it just really sticks in my craw when somebody gets just seemed like he was being scapegoated, and it bothers me.
Yeah, so this is a particular situation, Christian, in this kind of spiritual tradition, where part of the job of the teacher is fierce. And that's not true in all spiritual traditions. And, you know, in some spiritual traditions, there's quite a different flavor of teaching that's happening. But in particular, in the Tantric classical tradition and in traditions like Dzogchen and the Nyingma tradition in Tibet and the classical Taoist tradition, in all of these kinds of traditions, there is a kind of fierce, what's called cutting through quality that the teacher is manifesting. So I'm not doing it on purpose. It's not premeditated. It just, you know, I'm in this tradition because it comes naturally to me. So part that the images is like a fierce teacher, like with a sword. And what we're cutting is karma. What we're cutting is ignorance. What we're cutting is fixation. We're not operating with what you could call ordinary mind. So you don't know this, I'm sure, but you know, I worked in social justice organizations my whole life, starting when I was a teenager up until just last year. So I kind of, you know, get a little bit of where you're coming from, but this isn't about fairness, and this isn't about, adhering to ordinary, conventional ways of relating. It's about people who want to actually have their limitations, their limited ways of being in the world, cut out from under them. Now, not everybody that I work with wants that, and not everybody who wants it to the same degree. So I work with students in all different kinds of ways. And I try, well, I don't really try at all, but, you know, somehow there's some kind of intuition or insight operating, and that when it is possible to work with a student that way and when it's not. So if you stick around, Christian, you'll see me be in all different kinds of moods and ways. And one of them is fierce. So that's what you just saw me doing with Avi, Avi, you know, I'm sure some part of him actually enjoyed what just happened, if I'm not mistaken.
I would say more that I was grateful for it.
But, you know, people could, if we were just going to remain in the mold of what's fair or just, or if we were going to remain in a psychological way of relating to each other, or just an ordinary conventional idea of what's polite and what's nice, and conventional ideas of compassion, then, you know, Avi and I could be here for the next 40,000 lifetimes talking about his shame. You know, I'm just not down for that. So my job is to, you know, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes to pick up that sword and use it. in order to free people from their conventional karmic ways of being in the world. And so people who stay in these kinds of traditions understand that and want it. And then people who don't want it either never show up because they're somewhere else getting what they need, or they come and leave. So I don't know if that helps you at all, but that's what's happening.
Okay, fair enough.
Or Jody said, or you go and you come back.
No, you come, you leave.
You come, you go.
Yeah.
Then you come back again, leave again.
Yeah. Now you should have seen her a couple years ago.
I was just wondering about your motives. That's all. It just seemed like your motives to me. And
I only have one motive, and that's to serve my teacher. And along with that comes the desire to share with other people the wonder that I feel about this practice and this tradition through the mode of teaching. That's the only motive that I have.
I gotta say though, I think when you respond to people, you kind of tailor it towards that person.
I hope so.
Yeah, what they need, and Avi.
It would be unskillful if I didn't do that.
Yes, maybe.
I mean, everybody responds differently, and yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk that way to you, Jody.
I'd probably fly back there.
What? To punch me or to...
Oh.
There's a story. Actually, I was thinking about Lama Wangdor last night. Because I've always gravitated towards very fierce teachers. I always enjoyed that. And Lama Wangdor was, I think, the first Buddhist teacher I ever sat with, and he wasn't very fierce. At least not in a way I perceived. And so I thought he wasn't as good a teacher. Yeah. Because back then I was just, I couldn't recognize anything but the fierceness. And I was thinking last night how his teachings have stuck with me more than just about anybody else's. I mean, of the teachers I sat with. And what wonderful teachings they were. And he told a story. He was teaching a form of meditation that we call sahaja, but they call Mahamudra in that tradition. And he was telling a story about Mahamudra meditation practice, which is considered to be a fierce kind of meditation practice. He said, when the lion of Mahamudra roars, most everyone goes running away.
No.
But the cubs come for the milk.